Yo, what's good, everybody? It's Austin here, or Luna. Hope you guys are having a wonderful day so far, or night, whatever it is for you. My day is going pretty good. It's like 8 p.m. currently. A little bit late for me for recording, but I'm trying to keep the daily streak going, not trying to miss any days. I know you guys get mad at me when I leave you without a story for the night, so yeah, here I am with a pretty good one. Today's about the time that my friend's parents caught me and him smoking. Yeah, I hope you enjoy it. Leave a like on the video if you do. Let's jump into it. So, today's story time all takes place back in the year 2015. Long time ago. 10 fucking years ago, man. Wow. Anyway, yeah, it all starts off as a regular day back in 2015. This starts off like any other normal day back then. It was the summertime, so I didn't have school. I woke up late as hell. My sleep schedule was absolutely cooked. I woke up, I think, at like 5 p.m. Usually, my mom wouldn't even let me sleep that long during the summer. Usually, I was up by at least like 2 or 3 p.m., but yeah, she let me sleep all the way to 5. And I woke up super late, and I woke up to like 5 missed text messages. Yeah, my friend Brandon texted me like 5 times and was like, yo, like, you want to hang out today? Yo, bro, you want to spend the night? Yo, are you awake? Wake up, bro. Wake up. And motherfucker knew I was asleep. Like, he knew my schedule was just cooked, and that's why I wasn't replying. So when I woke up, I texted him back, and I was like, hey, man, yeah, you had it right. I was asleep. I'd be down to hang out, but it's kind of late now. Let me know if you're still down. To which he replied, and he was like, yeah, man, come over whenever. So I went out in the living room. I was like, hey, Mom, can I go to Brandon's house for the night? She's like, Austin, you literally just woke up and you're already asking me to go to someone else's house for the night. And she kind of gave me a yes and a no. She was like, no, you can't go right now, but maybe after you clean your room and vacuum, then you can go. So she was essentially saying if I do my chores, I can go. So I did my chores, did them in like 30 minutes. After that, I was like, all right, I'm done. She came into my room, she inspected it, saw that it was pretty clean, I did a pretty good job, and she was like, all right, we can go. So I packed a bag, got everything ready that I needed, and I set off to my journey to Brandon's house. My mom pulls up, she drops me off, I go in first, she follows behind me, says hello to Brandon's mom. They talk for like 10, 15 minutes. After that, my mom leaves, and I was just excited to spend the night at my homie Brandon's house. Now, I'm not going to lie, we both had absolutely fucked up sleep schedules. He woke up at like 2 p.m., so we both were pretty much planning on being up the entire night. Like, we knew that both of us were not sleeping on this night. And that was kind of why I wanted to go over there. Brandon was one of my only friends that had a just as fucked up sleep schedule as me, pretty much. So yeah, after I got there and my mom left and it was just me and Brandon, we ended up just playing some video games for like 2 or 3 hours. Now, Brandon's parents both went to bed super early most nights, so they were in bed by like 9 p.m., and after they went to bed, me and Brandon were just still sitting in the living room playing games. And probably about 30 minutes after Brandon's parents went to bed, he looked over at me and he was like, yo, man, I got a question. I was like, yeah. He's like, would you be down to smoke with me tonight? And I was like, smoke what? Weed? He's like, nah, man, a cigarette. Yeah, Brandon's dad smoked cigarettes and Brandon stole one. And here's the thing, Brandon's dad didn't just smoke regular cigarettes. He would like get homegrown tobacco from a friend of his and then roll the cigarettes himself with no filters. So trying to smoke one of those literally felt like you were inhaling fire, like actual fire burning your lungs. So I didn't want to do that. I can't lie. Even if they were regular like store-bought cigarettes, I wouldn't want to smoke them because I don't like cigarettes. Like, at this point, I had smoked cigarettes before and I did not like them. So I looked over at Brandon and I was like, honestly, man, not really. I don't really want to smoke. And he's like, bro, come on. Like, I don't want to do it alone. I've never tried them before. I want to like try them for the first time with somebody. And I was like, bro, why? Like, they taste like shit. They hurt your lungs. You'll just cough a bunch. And it's not like weed where you'll cough a bunch and then by the end of it, you'll feel something. You're just going to feel like ass afterwards. Like, it's not fun. They suck. I've tried them. They're not good. He's like, really? I'm like, yeah, bro, you know this. I've told you. He's like, well, I've never tried them and I want to try them. And I was like, bro, I mean, it's up to you, man. Like, if you want to, go for it. But I'm just letting you know, like, they're not all that. Like, I promise you, they're not going to be that fun. He's like, all right, well, I want to try them. And I couldn't really stop him. Like, he's my friend and I was trying to steer him in the right direction. But no matter what I said, it seemed like he kind of wanted to do this. So after kind of arguing back and forth, I was just like, all right, whatever. So fast forward like 30 minutes later, he goes into this like drawer in his room that he has the cigarette in. He grabs it. He comes back downstairs. He shows me the cigarette. He lets me hold on to it for a second. And I remember I took a smell of it, like I whiffed it, and it didn't smell like a cigarette. it smelled like weed. And I looked over at him and I was like, bro, are you sure this is a cigarette? Like, it reeks of weed. He's like, nah, man, it's a cigarette. And I put my phone flashlight on and I look at it closely. And based on what I could see, like inside of it, it looked like tobacco. It was brown. And it kind of also smelled like tobacco, but it also smelled like weed. You know what I mean? Like, it smelled more like weed than it did tobacco. But upon looking at it, it looked like tobacco. So I was like, okay, must be tobacco. It just must be some funky, like homegrown shit that kind of smells like weed, right? So anyway, fast forward a few minutes, we go outside, we go in his backyard, we go behind his shed, and he lights up this cigarette and he starts smoking it. And he takes about 2 puffs, and of course, he's coughing like a motherfucker, his eyes are watering, he is not looking like he's having a fun time. And as he's smoking it, I realized something. It smells like weed, a lot. And I was like, yo, that's gotta be weed in there. Like, there's no way. So I was like, yo, hand me it. He goes, what, you want to take a puff? I'm like, yeah. He hands it to me, and I take a hit, which is a terrible way to try and test something. You know what I mean? Like, I should have just, been like, oh, it smells like weed. There's probably weed in it. But I took a hit, and immediately, just one hit of this shit, I was like, oh, yeah, there's weed in there. I can tell. It definitely tastes like it. There's weed in there. And I don't know why, but for some reason, I just was like on my like, fuck it type shit. And I just ended up smoking the rest of it with him. And by the end of it, I was like, damn, okay. Yeah, there was definitely weed in that. I'm high as fuck. Uncomfortably high. Because at this point, I hadn't smoked in about 2 weeks. So my tolerance was just gone. Also, there was tobacco in this as well. Like, it was a tobacco and weed cigarette. It was a split, mix of the two. Because after I was done smoking it with him, I had a head rush, like a pretty crazy head rush, like I would from nicotine. But I also had, the high that you get from weed. So I remember after we got done smoking it, I looked over at Brandon and I was like, yo, there was definitely weed in that. And he starts laughing, like giggling, like a fucking little girl, bro. He's laughing. And I was like, dude, what? What's so funny? He's like, bro, I can't believe there was weed in that. And I was like, yeah, man, me neither. You smoked way more than I did. Like, how do you feel? And he just smiles at me. He just smiles at me and doesn't say anything. And I start laughing. And he's like, you want to go inside and play some games? And I was like, yeah, bro. So we go inside, we sit down, and we're just playing Xbox, right? And I forgot to mention this, but Brandon had smoked before, like weed. He had tried weed before. So like he wasn't having a first time experience or anything, but it was one of his first. Like he probably was on his 3rd time ever like smoking it. So he was still very much like, no tolerance, very high, very oblivious to everything. And I remember after we were playing Xbox for about 10 minutes, he looks over at me and he's like, yo, are you hungry? And I was like, kinda. I know you are too. He's like, yeah, bro, you want some mac and cheese? I was like, fuck yeah. So he gets up and he walks into the kitchen and I can hear him like looking for the pan that he needs to boil the water. He kept like all of his pots and pans in this like cupboard above his sink. And when he went to grab the one he needed, a bunch of the pans fell out and just scattered all over the floor. Like they hit the floor really hard, just went everywhere. And you guys can just imagine how loud that is. Like imagine a bunch of saucepans and frying pans falling from like a cabinet above the sink all over the hardwood floor. Like it literally sounded like a fucking war zone downstairs, like just loud shrieking sounds. And immediately, of course, it woke both of his parents up and they both come running down the stairs because they think that someone's like, in the house or some shit, like someone broke in. And they run down the stairs. His mom's like in her nightgown and his dad's in his underwear. And his dad goes, what the fuck's going on, Brandon? What was that? And then he sees all the pots and the pans on the ground and he goes, what are you guys doing? Like, come on, be quiet. And Brandon, I shit you not, starts giggling. He's like, sorry, Dad, my bad. And he's like, what's wrong with you? Are you fucking stoned? Like he immediately clocked it. And he immediately like bends down and looks at Brandon in the eyes and sees how red his eyes are. He goes, holy fuck, you are. And then he turns and he looks at me, his dad. He walks over to me and he goes, Austin, did you do this? Did you bring it? I was like, no, I didn't bring any weed. I didn't, I swear. He goes, let me see your eyes. And he like turns his little phone flashlight on. He looks at me. He goes, holy shit, you're stoned too. And Brandon's mom, I shit you not, starts crying. Tears start coming out of her eyes. And she's like, oh no, like my baby, he's smoking weed. She's fucking crying, dude. And I'm like, oh fuck, man, this is not good. This is not good at all. So I'm sitting there and his dad's questioning me, trying to ask like if I brought weed, where I got it from, whatever. I keep telling him the same thing. I'm like, no, I didn't get any. I didn't bring any. Like, I promise I'm not lying to you. And he goes, okay, well then if you didn't bring it over, who brought it over? Did Brandon buy it? Did he have it? And I go, no, he didn't buy any weed, which was true. He didn't buy any. Like, he didn't buy any. We got it from his dad. His dad's the one that fucking had it. We stole it. And, or Brandon stole it, I should say. I just partook. Anyway, his dad keeps like interrogating us, right? Like, he keeps switching from Brandon to me, asking me like where I bought it from. He's asking Brandon where he bought it from. We're both saying we didn't buy it. Meanwhile, Brandon's mom's crying, calling us potheads. It was just a shit show, right? And finally, after like 5 minutes of back and forth with like his dad, Brandon goes, Dad, I'm going to tell you the truth. It was your weed. And immediately everyone just kind of like stops, right? Like, his mom stops crying for a sec. The dad, like, you know, he stops asking questions. He just looks really, really like deer in headlights type face. And his dad goes, what? What are you talking about? And Brandon's like, yeah, Dad, like, I stole one of your cigarettes and we thought it was just a cigarette, but when we smoked it, we found out pretty quick that it was weed. And then Brandon's mom starts crying for a different reason. She starts crying now because Brandon's dad is a stoner. And she had no idea. Yeah, she thought he just smoked cigarettes. Little did she know that sometimes the cigarettes had a little bit of a, a little marijuana in them. So now she's freaking out. And she's like, oh my gosh, like my son and my husband are potheads. Like, oh my gosh. Like, she's freaking out, right? And now the dad is like more focused on not getting in trouble with her than being mad at us. So now I'm just watching the parents argue. And after like 10 minutes of them arguing, Brandon's dad turns around and goes, both you upstairs, Brandon's room now. So me and Brandon go upstairs, and for the rest of the night, they just didn't come in. They just left us up there to like just spend the rest of the night up there with no TV, nothing, just kind of like grounded for the rest of the night type shit, right? And then the next morning rolls around. We wake up, me and Brandon, at pretty much the same time. We were up all night pretty much, and we fell asleep at like 6 a.m., and we woke back up at about 11 a.m., right? Same time. And I remember I was sleeping on the floor. He was in the bed. And he looked over the bed to see if I was awake. And he's like, yo, are you up? I was like, yeah, man. He's like, bro, I'm scared to see what's going to happen today. I was like, yeah, bro, you and me both. Because, like, I didn't know what the outcome was going to be. Like, I didn't know if they called my mom and told her what happened. I didn't know if, like, they were going to go easy on us. I didn't know, right? So after, like, 10 minutes of just, like, talking, me and Brandon, we both decided, okay, it's time to get up and go downstairs and have breakfast and see what's going on. So we both got up. We went downstairs. And when we got downstairs, Brandon's mom was making waffles, which was pretty cool. They were really good. And Brandon's dad was on the couch watching TV. And when we first got down there, they said good morning to us. They acted like nothing happened. And then we all sat down for breakfast. And this is where it gets interesting. So as soon as we sit down for breakfast, about 1 minute in, Brandon's mom goes, okay, I think it's time we address the elephant in the room. And Brandon's dad speaks up and goes, yeah, I agree. Guys, look, last night, what we saw here, we're very disappointed in you both. We will not have our son, and he points to Brandon, smoking weed, or have our son hanging out with somebody else that smokes weed, and points to me. And then Brandon chimes in. He's like, but Dad, it was your weed. And his dad goes, Brandon, I'm not done talking. I was getting to that. So yeah, that being said, this was my mistake as well. I shouldn't have left it somewhere where you could access it. On top of everything, I shouldn't have been doing it, period. That was immature of me. I'm not some college student. I shouldn't be smoking pot behind my family's back. So that being said, I'm not going to do it anymore. And Brandon and Austin, you guys need to promise me that you'll never do it again. Of course, we said we wouldn't. We obviously fucking lied. I mean, in the moment, we meant it. But yeah, obviously down the line, we ended up smoking again. And I think his dad even knew that would happen. He just wanted to hear us say it. But yeah, we obviously agreed. And guess what? He didn't tell my mom. When my mom came to pick me up that day, they didn't tell her. The mom didn't. Brandon's dad didn't. They didn't say anything to her. I never got in trouble at home about this. I never got grounded, never got caught by my mom herself. Just Brandon's parents. And they went pretty easy on us. They just gave us a talking to at the table, but Brandon never got grounded. Like, he was still able to play his games, go on Xbox, and we were still able to have our sleepovers in the future. Like, literally a week later, I slept over there. And, we had to agree to not smoke. Now, the story time doesn't end there, okay? There's a little funny cherry on top to this story. So I guess you could say, yeah, that is the end of that story, right? But 4 years later, 4 years, 2019, Brandon and me are hanging out at Brandon's house. Brandon was literally about to move out. I was there helping him move out. Like he was moving from his childhood home, the house that we got caught smoking weed in and the house that we'd always hang out at, to an apartment, his own apartment near his college. And literally when we were getting like the last 2 boxes, we were out on the porch just chilling for a sec. And Brandon's dad came out and started smoking a joint right next to us. And I remember as soon as he started smoking it, I looked over at Brandon and I was like, what the fuck? Your dad smokes? And Brandon's like, yeah, man, my dad's like always kind of smoked in secret. And I was like, really? I thought he gave it up after that one day. And Brandon's dad chimes in. He's like, nope, I didn't. I picked it back up like a week later. And we all start laughing. And then he let us hit the joint with him. We smoked with Brandon's dad. So it was like a weird full circle stoner moment on this night. So yeah, kind of a funny ending. Eventually Brandon's dad was a little bit more chill about him smoking because Brandon obviously grew up. He was an adult now. He can make his own decisions. And I guess Brandon's mom eventually ended up being okay with Brandon's dad doing it because he was smoking on the porch super openly. And yeah, I mean, I don't know. Crazy shit. Just crazy shit. But yeah, guys, that is the end of the story. Pretty funny one in my opinion, pretty crazy one, just all around, definitely kind of an OG vibe. I hope you guys enjoyed the story time. If you did, please leave a like on the video. I would really appreciate it. Feel free to leave your story times in the comments down below and subscribe if you're new. I'll see you all later. Peace.